In the beginning, God created the world, and the first man, Adam, lived in the beauty of the Garden of Eden. In the center of the garden stood the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, a choice placed before humanity. But the serpent deceived Eve, and temptation entered the perfect garden. Yet God spoke a promise. One day the seed of the woman would crush the serpent forever. And though humanity left Eden, the story of redemption had already begun.
Centuries passed, and God spoke through prophets like Isaiah, revealing that a Savior would one day come. The prophet Micah declared that the Messiah would be born in the humble town of Bethlehem. They saw visions of a servant who would suffer, carrying the sins of many. Across generations, these sacred words were written on scrolls and passed down with hope. And through divine messages and heavenly encounters, the promise of the coming Messiah spread throughout the world.
In the quiet village of Nazareth, a young woman named Mary was chosen for a divine purpose. The angel Gabriel appeared to her with an extraordinary message. She would give birth to the Son of God, and humbly she answered, "Let it be as the Lord has spoken." Soon, Mary and Joseph traveled to Bethlehem, and there, in a humble stable, Jesus Christ, the Savior of the world, was born. Jesus grew up in wisdom and favor, living quietly with his family in Nazareth. Even as a young man, his words carried wisdom and authority. One day he came to the waters of the Jordan River to be baptized by John the Baptist. As he rose from the water, the heavens opened above him, and a voice declared, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." Jesus began traveling through towns and villages, healing the sick and restoring sight to the blind. Even the winds and waves obeyed him as he walked upon the stormy sea. With only a few loaves and fish, he fed thousands who followed him. Where chaos raged, his voice brought peace. And before a stunned crowd in Bethany, he called Lazarus of Bethany back from the grave.
Crowds gathered on the hillsides to hear his teachings about the kingdom of heaven. He spoke in parables, stories of seeds, fields, and faith. He forgave sinners and offered mercy to the broken. His disciples walked beside him, learning the way of truth. And often he withdrew alone to pray to his Father.
But many rejected him, and he was condemned to die. Mocked and crowned with thorns, he carried a cross through Jerusalem. On a hill called Golgotha, Jesus was crucified. His body was laid in a tomb, and a heavy stone sealed the entrance. But on the third day, the tomb was opened. Jesus had risen from the dead. He died, descended into the Hades, took the keys from Lucifer, and on the third day rose back from the dead and appeared to his disciples.
He first appeared to Mary Magdalene in the garden. Then he walked beside his followers on the road to Emmaus. He stood among his disciples, bringing them peace. They touched his wounded hands and knew he was truly alive. And by the sea, he shared a final meal with them.
Before leaving, Jesus gave his followers a mission. He ascended into heaven before their eyes. But the promise remains. One day he will return. The King will come again with power and glory, and the story that began in Eden will be fulfilled forever.